Gonna make some baking powder biscuits. Bob's Red Mill baking powder, double acting, no added aluminum. That's what you want. You want something that doesn't have aluminum in it. Most of this stuff that's in the can, although Rumford is aluminum free, but I much prefer Bob's Red Mill. I just save the can and fill it with my bag. So I've got 2 cups of flour. I've got a tablespoon plus a tiny bit more that was in the bottom of that bag of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of oil. You can use cold butter, you can use cold shortening. The oil works just as well. And 2/3 cup milk. And I just want to stir this all together well.
All the dry ingredients.
Yep. It's just the baking powder, the flour, and the salt. We'll make a well in the middle and add the wet ingredients and mix them together. If it's dry, you can add a little bit more milk. If it's wet, you can add a tiny bit more flour. It depends on the humidity level, what you need. I'm going to pat it out on a board. I just mix it together as little as possible just so it comes together. And then we'll cut it out into biscuits, bake it at 375 for about 12 minutes. 12 to 14 minutes usually they take, but I'll show you that when I pat them out. So I just added the 1/3 cup of oil and 2/3 cup of milk. Just mix it together. Slosh the flour everywhere like I always do.
You need a baker unless you get flour all over everything.
Yeah, that's just a little bit dry. I'm going to add just a cup. Make sure I got everything out of my cup. Oven's ready.
It's easier to cut than to turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on.
I just added a couple of drops. It doesn't need much.
That wasn't milk, that was half and half.
Now it's what was handiest. Doesn't matter, I've used half and half before. So you just want to make sure that everything clings together and is mixed. And we'll flour my little board and we'll pat that out. So don't need much flour, just a little bit there. Just get everything together and knead it a couple of times and just flatten them out as much as you want. They'll rise some, but I don't want them too flat. And you can cut them any size you want. And we'll just pat those back out and continue. You can actually also make these into drop biscuits if you want. They don't have to be patted. You can make them any size. I've used a glass to cut them out. It's just whatever you want. And just keep going here. I usually get between 5 and 6 of these depending on how big I make them, how thick. And we'll just do that into the last one. So as I said, if you want, you can brush the tops with a little bit of milk. I don't normally bother, or with a little bit of butter even. I don't usually bother. They're going to go in the oven. We'll check them at 12 minutes. Hold on. My timer's going off for the check the biscuits at 12 minutes. I'm just stirring, reheating the gravy and the chicken, so I need to turn that down a little bit. We'll check the biscuits. Now the bottoms aren't very brown, so I'm going to give them another 2 minutes. You can usually, they still feel a little moist on the sides, so I don't think they're quite done yet.
Stop. Hey. Enough, Brody.
So they're done. They're starting to get golden brown on the bottom, which is what you want. And they want to be dry on the sides. So they are done enough. They could go another minute at most, but they're good. These are also good split for breakfast in the morning with a little bit of butter and jam on them. You can use them for sandwiches. You can put a little egg on there and some ham and make breakfast sandwiches out of them. But usually what we have left over from supper, I will, like this one that's misshapen, I'll probably have for breakfast tomorrow with some butter and jam on it. And the chicken and gravy's bubbling away, so we'll just have this for supper.
Comfort food. Coco. He says, I know I'm being photographed. I don't want my face on the internet.
Yes, you're such a good baby. Thank you. I love you too. Thank you. You're a good boy.
Finally.
Yes, you're such a good boy.
A video of Coco.
Yes, such a good boy. Yes, you are.
Peace out, all.